Welcome to the first bike review on the Norwegian Cargobike channel. This is going to be a very unscripted, unedited, simple and very honest review of the Riese Müller Load 75 Vario. The reason that I wanted to make this review and also this channel is that if you're into cargo bikes, you've been watching a lot of reviews, I bet, and most of the reviews are not long-time consumer reviews. They're just dealers, people trying to sell you the bikes. They might go over the specs, but they don't really give an opinion on what it's like to own and ride these bikes in the long run. So today we're going to go over this bike from front to back, what I like, what I don't like, and we're going to talk a little bit about owning this bike and riding it. So first things first, front 20-inch wheel, disc brakes, nothing to criticize about that. The small wheel is nice to keep the center of gravity low. As you can see, I have this cover on the front shocks that my dealer recommended, which has kept them from rusting, hopefully, because that's a normal failure point for this bike. Front light, it's a very good light, high beam, low beam, but what I don't like about it is the tightening of the light. You basically have to tighten it with this screw, and sometimes it knocks out of place. It would be good to have some kind of small teeth that kind of just locked it into one position, and so you don't have to over tighten that nut to keep the light in place. Moving on, we got the passenger cargo compartment. Let's talk about the tent first. The tent is one of the weak points of this bike. As you can see, it looks kind of crooked. From the front you can see that it's all bent, and that's because of two things. One is the frame part that's holding up this this part breaks, and I have to keep it on with zip ties. That's a normal weak point for this as well, and when that breaks, this whole thing becomes floppy, but now it's kind of sturdy because of the zip ties. But the tent poles that are inside this are weak and they fray, and it seems like they've lost some of their tension, which is making it not stand up quite right. But it's too expensive for me to want to fix, so I'm not gonna fix that. It still works well. There's a lot of Velcro points here. You can get this cover to block out the sunlight, but also getting kids and cargo in and out, you can open up this, and the way you fasten this is that you kind of just roll it up inside, and then you take these up and under to keep it in place. That also works really bad because it just works itself loose over time, and it's just a bad design. Doesn't seem very thought through at all. Inside, I've added some sheepskin to the seats just to make them a bit more comfortable. There's two seats in the back and one in the front. This realistically doesn't fit 3 kids unless they're all very, very small. My 1 and 3 year olds barely fit inside here now. They end up fighting over the leg space inside here because it's just getting really cramped, and that's why I'm upgrading to a long tail bike now. There's also these mounts for a table here. Again, works if you have really small kids, but my kids are kind of big, and this realistically fits 1 bigger kid or 2 kind of smaller kids, or 3 kids if you have like triplets or very small children. And height-wise, the one sitting facing you doesn't have a lot of headspace when they grow taller. So yeah, it's kind of cramped in here. I feel like it doesn't really live up to the promises of fitting 3 kids here, which is also why I have this seat in the back now. As you can see, I use this to transport 2 children, and it's getting small. Moving over, 2 batteries, very nice for the range. As you can see here, this battery used to be mounted here, and you can see this mark here. That is because this battery is so close that your feet end up rubbing here if you're not careful. So that mounting solution could be better, but other than that, that's kind of nice. Also a mount for the lock, which is really nice. You got the fully adjustable stem, easy to adjust up and down, back and front. And you got the, I have this comfort handlebars, which I highly recommend because I like sitting upright on this bike. It's not an aero bike. And also it gives you greater range, because if you have straight bars, then they will hit this when you're turning. So that's really nice. Display is very nice. Got lots of options here. You got maps and all customizable data, everything that you want. Works really well. And also moving back, you got the Bosch Cargobike motor, way powerful enough for this bike. Full suspension, makes the ride really smooth. Saddle is okay, I'm not too picky about that. This, however, really sucks. Some reason this lock just doesn't shed water or something, so it just rusts. It looks horrible, but it works, but it rusts. I got the Vario hub on this one. I'm gonna come back to that in a second. And also I mounted the seat. You can also have panniers on the back. The included rubber strap back here just lasts a couple of years, and then it just rots and breaks, so that's not good. Also, as you can see here, the rear fender is held together with zip ties, because it when the bike the rear suspension is working, the cargo rack here can hit the fender and break it. That's probably what happened, and I've heard that happens to a lot of people, and it's a quite expensive fix. Rear brake lights, I've added some more reflective patches there. And we also have this Gates belt drive, which I'm not really a huge fan of, but it works. Broke one of them after the bike had gone maybe 1,000 kilometers, just riding up a really steep hill, so not really going to do that anymore. And I guess that kind of summarizes the bike. Now, what it's like to actually own this bike. First thing I noticed, if you don't really have the skill to maintain your bike by yourself, it's going to be quite an expensive bike to own. It wears through brake pads very often, and if something happens to the belt drive, you need to take it to the shop. Sometimes I had some noises that I had to take to the shop, and that costs money. And the rear brake caliper also failed, not under warranty, because it's just wear and tear, but it failed, and it took a lot of attempts to fix. Cost me a lot of money to fix, and it's just something about this bike that it's a premium bike, but many of the parts seem really cheap, and that's a bummer, because if just the parts felt a little bit more high quality and the tent was a better quality, it would be a 10 out of 10. One thing I didn't mention, the Vario, it starts off nice and smooth when you buy the bike, and it gets harder and harder to turn. had it in for adjustment several times. It gets a little better, then it gets worse, and in the winter this just freezes completely, and I have to use absolutely all my strength to turn it, and I kind of lose the ability to shift when it's freezing outside, probably because the cables are freezing over, and that, yeah, that just doesn't make this a good winter bike. In the winter I ride with studded tires, which works really well, but you have to be aware that the way this bike is formed, there's not a lot of weight on the front wheel, so the front wheel kind of floats very easily, and you can't really use the front brakes while turning or while it's slippery. That'll just make you fall over. Other than that, it's a bike that I enjoy owning, but it's expensive to run, and some of the things like the Enviola hub steals a lot of energy, doesn't feel high quality, freezes in the winter. Some things just kind of pull it down, but still I would absolutely recommend this bike. If I were to buy it again, I would buy it with a derailleur and just maintain it myself. With the rear fender braking and the front mount for the tent braking, you can just fix that and it still works. So it's a bike that works, but some things could be a little more thought out for the kind of extreme price that you have to pay for this bike. So I guess that kind of wraps up what I think about owning this bike, and if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.